Every time you're on the show, you give a spoiler and you get in trouble.
They decided that it was better to get rid of me than for me to tell the end of the next movie.
In an unprecedented crisis that's shaking Hollywood to its foundation, multiple Avengers actors have reportedly leaked massive spoilers and behind-the-scenes details about Avengers, Doomsday, and then quit Disney entirely in what appears to be a coordinated act of rebellion against Marvel Studios. According to sources with knowledge of the situation, the leaks weren't accidental or the result of poor security. They were deliberate acts by frustrated actors who wanted to expose what they view as creative bankruptcy and corporate dysfunction at Marvel before walking away from the franchise permanently. This isn't just contract disputes or scheduling conflicts. This is apparently multiple high-profile actors deciding that the best way to protest how Disney has destroyed Marvel is to burn it down on their way out by revealing plot details that will devastate the film's marketing campaign and box office potential. This is absolutely catastrophic for Disney and Marvel on every conceivable level. First, Avengers. Doomsday is supposed to be one of Marvel's biggest films ever, the culmination of years of planning and the centerpiece of their strategy to revitalize the post-Endgame MCU. Having major plot points leaked deliberately by its own cast members destroys the surprise and spectacle that Marvel relies on to drive box office. Second, the fact that actors would sabotage their own film before quitting suggests problems so severe that these performers would rather damage a project they worked on than allow Disney to profit from their labor without consequences. Third, this represents a complete breakdown of the relationship between Marvel and the talent that's supposed to be promoting and defending these films. Fourth, the coordinated nature of the leaks and departures suggests the actors communicated with each other about their frustrations and decided collectively that exposing and leaving was preferable to continued silence. Let's break down what was allegedly leaked about Doomsday, which actors are reportedly involved in this rebellion, what drove them to such drastic action, and what this means for Marvel's future when even Avengers themselves are actively sabotaging Disney's plans. According to multiple reports from entertainment news outlets and social media accounts claiming insider knowledge, the leaked information about Avengers Doomsday includes massive plot spoilers that would normally be kept secret until the film's release. The leaks allegedly reveal that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is indeed connected to Tony Stark, as a variant from another timeline, that the film's central conflict involves the Avengers being divided over whether to stop Doom's plan to save the multiverse through authoritarian control, and that major character deaths occur, including potentially some of the newer heroes introduced in Phase 4 and Phase 5. More damningly, the leaks allegedly include behind-the-scenes details about production problems, script issues, and creative disputes that paint a picture of a troubled production plagued by the same problems that have affected other recent Marvel projects. According to the leaked information, Doomsday went through extensive rewrites during production, suffered from unclear direction about where the story was going, featured creative interference from Disney executives who overruled filmmakers' decisions, and struggled with a bloated cast where many actors didn't know how their characters fit into the larger narrative. The leaks also allegedly revealed budget problems, with Disney apparently cutting corners on effects work and production design, despite Doomsday being positioned as a tentpole event film. Actors supposedly leaked information about rushed shooting schedules, inadequate preparation time, and pressure to film scenes before scripts were finalized. All issues that suggest Disney prioritized meeting release dates over ensuring quality. According to sources, the leaked details came through multiple channels simultaneously, suggesting coordination among the leakers. Information appeared on social media through anonymous accounts, was shared with entertainment journalists who reported it as coming from people with direct knowledge of production, and was discussed in online forums by users claiming insider access. The volume and specificity of information released made it clear these weren't just rumors or speculation, but came from people directly involved with the film. According to industry insiders and reports from entertainment trades, the actors allegedly involved in this coordinated leak and quit rebellion include some major names from the MCU, though the exact list remains somewhat unclear due to the sensitive nature of the situation and potential legal implications. Sources claim that actors who've been with Marvel for years and who've grown increasingly frustrated with Disney's management decided that going out dramatically by leaking and quitting was preferable to quietly finishing their obligations and leaving. The reported motivations for this drastic action center on accumulated frustrations that finally reached a breaking point. According to people familiar with the actors' thinking, the problems include creative dissatisfaction with how Doomsday was developed and executed, anger over Disney's treatment of talent throughout the production process, and a sense that the MCU has degraded so much under Disney's current management that these actors would rather burn bridges than continue associating themselves with what Marvel has become. Creatively, the actors allegedly felt that Doomsday represented everything wrong with current Marvel: a convoluted plot prioritizing multiverse gimmicks over character development, a bloated cast where individual actors got minimal screen time, unclear thematic focus that made it hard to understand what the film was actually about, and reliance on spectacle and cameos rather than genuine storytelling. Some actors reportedly felt that their characters were being wasted or misused, that the material they were given didn't honor the journeys these characters had been on, and that the film felt like a corporate product rather than something made with artistic passion. Financially, there was apparently renewed anger over Disney's compensation practices. According to sources, some actors felt they were being underpaid relative to the film's budget and expected box office, particularly given that their participation was essential to the film's marketing and commercial potential. The disparity between what Disney was paying actors versus what the film was expected to earn created resentment that these performers were making Disney billions while receiving what they viewed as inadequate compensation. But according to insiders, the breaking point came from how Disney treated the cast during production and post-production. Actors allegedly felt disrespected by executives who ignored their input, by production conditions that prioritized speed and cost-cutting over quality, and by a general sense that Disney viewed them as replaceable assets rather than as creative partners essential to Marvel's success. The decision to leak, rather than just quietly quit, apparently came from a desire to damage Disney and Marvel as punishment for years of accumulated mistreatment. According to people familiar with the actors' thinking, they wanted to ensure that Disney faced consequences for how they'd managed Marvel, and leaking plot details that would damage the film's box office seemed like the most effective way to make Disney feel pain proportional to what the actors had experienced. The immediate impact of these leaks on Avengers. Doomsday's commercial prospects is potentially devastating. Marvel's marketing strategy relies heavily on maintaining mystery and surprise about plot developments, using that anticipation to drive opening weekend box office. When major plot points leak months before release, it reduces the urgency audiences feel to see the film immediately, and gives people who might have seen it in theaters the option to wait for streaming, since they already know what happens. The fact that the leaks came from the cast itself is particularly damaging, because it suggests the people most intimately involved with the film don't believe in it enough to protect it. When audiences learn that actors deliberately leaked their own movie before quitting, it sends a message that something is seriously wrong with the project. Why would performers sabotage their own work unless they felt it was terrible, or unless they were so angry at Disney that damaging the company mattered more than protecting the film? Marvel will struggle to market Doomsday effectively now that so much information is public. How do you generate excitement about surprises that everyone already knows about? How do you convince audiences that a film is worth seeing when its own cast sabotaged it? The marketing campaign will have to pivot from building mystery to trying to salvage what excitement remains. An uphill battle that puts the film at a significant commercial disadvantage. For Disney, this situation represents the complete collapse of their relationship with MCU talent, and the exposure of just how dysfunctional Marvel has become under current management. When actors are so fed up that they'll deliberately damage billion-dollar films before quitting, something is catastrophically wrong with how the company operates. The leaks validate every criticism about Disney's mismanagement of Marvel. That creative quality has degraded, that productions are rushed and poorly planned, that budget cuts are affecting quality, that actors are treated poorly, and that the focus has shifted from making good films to churning out content regardless of quality. Having these problems exposed by people directly involved in the productions, rather than just by critics or fans, gives them credibility that Disney can't dismiss. Disney now faces a crisis of confidence where other MCU actors are watching this rebellion and potentially considering their own exits. If some actors were willing to go this far, how many others are equally frustrated but haven't yet reached their breaking point? The culture of fear and silence that might have kept people quiet is breaking down, potentially triggering more coordinated resistance or departures. Disney will also face significant challenges recruiting new talent to Marvel projects. When word spreads that actors are so unhappy they're sabotaging films and quitting, why would top performers want to sign on for new MCU roles? The combination of inadequate compensation, creative frustration, and toxic working conditions makes Marvel an increasingly unattractive destination for talent. According to entertainment lawyers and industry analysts, Disney could potentially pursue legal action against actors who deliberately leaked confidential information about Doomsday in violation of their contracts. Non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality clauses in actor contracts specifically prohibit this kind of deliberate information disclosure, and Disney could argue they've suffered quantifiable damages from the leaks affecting box office prospects. However, actually suing the actors who leaked would create additional PR nightmares for Disney. Legal action would generate more negative publicity about Marvel's talent management problems, would potentially expose embarrassing details about productions and contracts during discovery, and would make Disney look vindictive and punitive toward actors rather than addressing the underlying issues that caused the rebellion. There's also the practical challenge of proving which specific actors leaked what information, particularly if they were careful about how they distributed details. Unless Disney has direct evidence of specific actors leaking specific information, pursuing legal action becomes difficult and risky. The more likely outcome is that Disney pursues settlements or threatens legal action privately to discourage future leaks, while trying to move past this crisis publicly without drawing more attention to how badly it reflects on the company. The fan reaction to these leaks and to the reported actor rebellion has been mixed but largely sympathetic to the performers. Many fans expressed disappointment that Doomsday has been spoiled, but direct their anger at Disney's mismanagement rather than at the actors who leaked. There's widespread recognition that actors wouldn't take such drastic action unless conditions at Marvel had become intolerable. Fans are discussing the leaked plot details, and many are expressing concern that the information confirms their fears about Doomsday being overstuffed, convoluted, and lacking the focus that made the best MCU films work. The leaks seem to validate criticisms rather than generating excitement, suggesting the film's problems extend beyond just spoilers to fundamental creative issues. There's also significant discussion about what this rebellion means for Marvel's future. When even Avengers actors are actively sabotaging Disney, it suggests the franchise has reached a crisis point where fundamental changes are necessary to salvage what remains. Fans are calling for leadership changes at Marvel Studios, for Disney to listen to talent concerns rather than dismissing them, and for a return to the creative approach. That made the MCU successful before Disney's corporate interference destroyed it. Avengers stars leaking Doomsday and then quitting Disney represents the most dramatic talent rebellion in modern Hollywood history, and exposes the complete dysfunction at the heart of Marvel Studios under Disney's current management. These actors decided that deliberately damaging a billion-dollar film and ending their relationships with the world's most successful franchise was preferable to continuing to work under conditions they found intolerable. The leaks aren't just plot spoilers, they're a declaration that Marvel has become so creatively bankrupt and so disrespectful of talent that even the people who built the franchise would rather destroy it than continue enabling Disney's exploitation. The actors have essentially said that if Disney won't listen to their concerns or treat them fairly, they'll make Disney feel consequences severe enough to force change or to cripple the franchise entirely. For Disney, this is a self-inflicted disaster of almost unimaginable proportions. They've managed Marvel so poorly that their own cast members are sabotaging films and quitting publicly. Every criticism about post-Endgame Marvel, creative degradation, talent mistreatment, corporate interference, budget cuts affecting quality, has been validated by people with direct knowledge exposing these problems on their way out. The future of the MCU is now in serious question. Can Marvel recover from having multiple Avengers actors leak and quit? Can they market and sell Doomsday effectively after this catastrophe? Can they recruit new talent when current talent is in open rebellion? Can they restore creative quality and talent relationships that have deteriorated to this point? The answers to these questions will determine whether Marvel survives as a viable franchise, or whether Disney's mismanagement has damaged it beyond repair. What's certain is that the old model treating actors as replaceable, prioritizing cost-cutting over quality, ignoring creative concerns, has completely collapsed. Disney either makes fundamental changes to how it operates Marvel or watches the franchise continue disintegrating as more talent follows these actors' example of leaking, quitting, and publicly condemning what Marvel has become. The Avengers assembled once to save the universe. Now some of them have assembled to expose and damage Marvel Studios as punishment for years of mistreatment. That reversal tells you everything about how catastrophically Disney has failed at managing the most valuable franchise in entertainment history.